and build your leadership team. I believe there are two essential elements vital to a discussion of enlisting and shaping leaders. One is how to attract leaders, and two, understanding of vision. And we will go into visionary leadership later on tomorrow, but we will touch on a bit on vision, understanding vision in this session. So how to attract leaders. The task of attracting leaders is always the dream of a leader. A leader's dream is always how to attract other leaders. However, leaders are attracted by a number of qualities. Leaders are very peculiar. They are attracted only by certain qualities. Jesus, I believe, is an excellent example of how to attract leaders. John Maxwell terms the first quality as the law of the buy-in. That's his terminology. I agree with his observation because I see this principle in the life of Jesus. We can illustrate this by asking a question that maybe you never asked. Why did the disciples follow Jesus? Think about that for a minute. It's a very important question if you're a leader and you want to learn how to attract leaders. Why did the disciples follow Jesus? I believe there's several reasons. Number one, Jesus claimed to be the Son of God. He claimed to be the Son of God. Secondly, Jesus asked them to follow him, not a vision, although he gave them a vision. I'm going to say that again. Jesus asked them to follow him. What did he say? Follow me, and I will make you to become. So he asked them to follow him, not a vision, although he did still give them a vision. Thirdly, Jesus promised them that he would make them to become more than they were. Leaders don't just follow like that. He convinced them that if they followed him, they would become more than they were before they started following him. And fourthly, Jesus demonstrated that he was who he said he was and could do what he claimed he could do. Jesus demonstrated that he was who he said he was and that he could do what he claimed he could do. Very interesting to note how Jesus led them. Jesus never told them his vision first. He allowed them to experience who he was. Very important principle. At the heart of leadership is the integrity of the leader. Not the largeness of the vision. See, anyone can come along with an elaborate vision and razzle and dazzle you. So I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to build this, I'm going to build that, I'm going to do that. And you get all excited. Woo, 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 woo. No. Learn from Jesus. Learn from Jesus. I will say it again. Jesus never told them his vision first. He allowed them to experience who he was first. Because, for two reasons. Number one, at the heart of every vision is the integrity of the visionary, the leader. The vision is as solid as the leader's integrity. It's as solid as the leader's integrity. So he had them to experience him first. Second reason is that the vision comes out of the leader. So you want to experience and know and be able to have confidence in the leader first. So he said to them, what? Follow me. Now, as they followed him, he gave them a vision. But he said, first and foremost, come and follow me. Very important. You are determining, then, whether you will attract people every day by your behavior, your lifestyle, and your witness. As leaders, it's important for you to understand. You are determining whether you will attract people every day by your behavior, your lifestyle, and your witness. Your claim to be a leader must have some evidence in order for you to be believed. Very important. Your claim to be a leader. See, you can't just say, well, I'm a leader, follow me. As a matter of fact, let me say that a title alone does not make you a leader. You know people like that, perhaps on your job. They've got a title, but they're still not a leader. So the pastor can give you a title. He can say, okay, you are head usher. You're a hospitality director. You're in charge of the finances. Whatever title. He can give you a title, but that title alone does not make you a leader. You've got to prove your leadership by your behavior. Otherwise, you will not be respected by those who you are supposed to be leading. You'll have a problem. And we know people like that. They have a title, but those who they're supposed to be leading really have no respect for them. Real leaders have a track record. Real leaders have a track record. I say it this way. Don't follow anyone who doesn't have a track record. We were talking just yesterday, Pastor JD and I, about, it's amazing how today everybody wants to open a church, for example. The first question people should ask is, who have you served under? Give me their names. Who have you served under? What is your track record? Not because you can speak eloquently. Doesn't mean you're anointed. You can learn how to speak eloquently. Real leaders have a track record. Never follow a fellow in the battle who doesn't have scars. Because if he has scars, he knows how to lead me. He knows where to take me, where not to take me, because he can say, see this scar, I got this when I did thus and so. See this scar? People will not follow you simply because you claim to have a vision. We're talking about how to enlist and shape leaders. People will not follow you simply because you claim to have a vision. People will not follow you simply because you say you're a leader. The truth of the matter is this. Vision is in people, not in words. Vision is in people, not in words. Integrity is in people. It is not in words. and it's not in a vision. It's in the person. I say those two again. Vision is in people. It's not in words. Integrity is in people, and it's not in a vision. John Maxwell says it this way. He says, people don't at first follow worthy causes. They follow worthy leaders who promote worthwhile causes. People buy into the leader first, then into the leader's vision. And he's right. He's right. So Jesus said, I go back to his words to his disciples, come, follow, not vision, me. Get to know me. Get to find out my integrity. Then I could tell you about the vision, the assignment I have for you. People follow worthy leaders who promote worthwhile causes. They follow the leader first, then they follow the leader's vision. So, for example, if I throw out some names to you, if I throw out the name, for example, Warren Buffett, and I said, he wants you to invest with him, what would you do? You would run right away if you know who he is. You say, yes, man, yes, right away. Where is he? Where is he? Why would you do that, though? Why? Track record. Track record. Likewise, if I call somebody's name who you know have always failed in business, and they say, I want you to invest with me, you'll go the other way. No thanks. We pass it up. The question really is then, have you given people a reason to follow you? See, if you want to enlist leaders, here's the questions you must ask. Have you given people a reason to follow you? People don't just follow. You've got to give them a reason. Can they trust your word? Are you a person of integrity? Can they trust your word? Do you have faith in God? Very important. Do you have faith in God? You cannot be separated from your vision. In other words, you cannot say, I have this great vision. I want you to follow this vision, but don't worry about my integrity. You can't say that. Although there's some, quote, leaders who try to say that. They try to say that. By trying to say, well, what I do in my personal life is my business, personally. Don't get in my personal business. Are you kidding me? There's no such a thing. There's no such thing. You cannot be separated from your vision. If you are the leader, the vision has as much integrity as you have. The vision is as legitimate as you are. There are 4 leadership scenarios that John Maxwell gives, and I think there's a lot of merit in them. So I want to give them to you. He says, when followers don't like the leader or the vision, they look for another leader. Very interesting. He says, when followers don't like the leader or the vision, they simply look for another leader. Second scenario, when followers don't like the leader, but they like the vision, they still look for another leader. Interesting scenario. Third scenario, when followers like the leader, but not the vision, they change the vision. Interesting, huh? So let's go back to scenario 2 a minute. Very interesting. Scenario 2 says what? When followers don't like the leader, but they like the vision, they don't stay. They look for another leader. Now, they like the vision, but they don't like the leader. So they look for another leader. Okay, so now we're number 3 then. When followers like the leader, but they don't like the vision, they change the vision. They stay with the leader. Interesting. And scenario number 4. When followers like the leader and the vision, they will support both of them. So it simply underscores my point a moment ago. You cannot be separated from your vision. The vision is you, and you are the vision. The integrity that you have is the integrity the vision has. One of the most helpful tools that I've found when it comes to enlisting leaders and learning how to attract leaders is the leadership test. In the book by Oswald Sanders, not Oswald Chambers, Sanders, it's called Spiritual Leadership. One of the most helpful tools. And I want to give you some of those questions from that book that he asks. Excellent book. If you don't have it as a leader, you should have it. You should get it, put it in your library. Don't lend it to anybody. Keep it in your library. Very important book. Questions for potential leaders. Have you ever broken a bad habit? First question. Have you ever broken a bad habit? Why? To lead others, you must master your own appetites. You must have self-control. You must develop your character. Excellent question. Have you ever broken a bad habit? Second question. Do you keep self-control when things go wrong? The leader who loses control under adversity forfeits respect and influence. Very important. The leader who loses self-control under adversity forfeits respect and influence. In fact, can I say this to you? When as a leader you face adversity, it is a direct test of your leadership. The leader who has no adversity, who never faces adversity, he is untested. He doesn't know how he will respond. But when you face adversity as a leader, you become tested. And the way you respond is what either makes you a better leader or you lose respect. A leader must be calm in crisis and resilient in disappointment. This is from his book, all of these. Make sure you get a hold of this book. A leader must be calm in crisis. You know why? Crisis is always temporary. Make a note. Crisis is always temporary. So if you go to pieces, you can forfeit your whole leadership over a temporary situation. Can I say it to you this way? Never give a permanent response to a temporary situation. Can I say it again? Yes, sir. Never give a permanent response to a temporary situation. That's why a leader must remain calm. You don't respond in such a way that you damage your relationship forever. Because you responded to the adversity in such a way that you forever have damaged your relationship with someone over a temporary situation. So a leader must always be calm in crisis. Why? Because the crisis is temporary. There's a way to deal with it. If you've got to back up, cool off, take a break, stay calm. Stay calm. A leader can't be someone who, the minute there's a tough situation or an adversity occurs, they get all hyper. Oh my goodness, who's going to follow you? No one wants to follow you. No one wants to follow you. And resilient in disappointment. Very important quality of a leader. There's always several ways to deal with every situation. Hear me. There's always several ways to deal with every situation. Disappointments are a part of life. So as a leader, if you don't understand that and you don't know how to deal with disappointments, your leadership is going to be very weak. A leader finds a way to deal with every disappointment. They find a way. That's why leaders are usually creative. So you've got to find a way to deal with it. Now, if you want to attract other leaders, this is the kind of leader you've got to be. And you will attract other leaders because they will say, this is the kind of person I want to be around. I can learn from them. I can learn a lot from them. You will attract them. Next question. Do you think independently? Now, don't misunderstand the question. It did not say, are you independent? Read it carefully. See, sometimes we read into what's not there. Read it carefully. It just says, do you think independently? It did not say, are you independent? No one is independent. We're all dependent on each other. Because all of us have different strengths. So we learn from each other's strengths. Okay? But, do you think independently? A leader must use the best ideas of others to make decisions. A leader cannot wait for others to make up his or her mind. If you're in charge, at the end of the day, you've got to make a decision. So, you may consult, and you get the best ideas you can get, but at the end of the day, you must come back and say, okay, here's the way we're going. Here's what we're going to do. Now, I can hear the unspoken question in your mind. So I'll answer it. Here's the unspoken question in your mind. Well, what if you don't make the best decision or the right decision? You learn from it. Believe it or not, as smart as you are, you will not always make the best decision. Hello? But never use that as an excuse not to make a decision as a leader. See, some leaders weaken their leadership because they want to always make the right decision. You may make the right decision 90% of the time, but there's a 10% where you'll miss it. And sometimes you don't make the best decision for a number of reasons. One, you may not have had the right information. Or two, you might have let your emotions get involved. There's a number of reasons. But that should never stop you to fear that this may not be the right decision, and you never do anything. That's not a leader. No one wants to follow that person. The worst experience you can have, and some of you I'm sure have experienced it, is to have somebody in a position of leadership who cannot make decisions. You go to them and they can never make a decision. Well, I don't know. I'm not sure. Let me think about it. I mean, 2 weeks from now, they're still thinking about it. That's the worst experience you can have, to encounter somebody like that. No. Can you handle criticism? Next question. Can you profit from it? The humble person can learn from petty criticism, even malicious criticism. Now, in these questions, you will see yourself in different questions at different places. All of us are at different places in answering these questions. But these are questions to ask yourself. This question I've learned a lot from. I've learned a lot from this question. Because just like some of you, don't look at anybody, just look straight at me now. Just like some of you, I never used to like anyone to criticize me. I say like some of you, not, I know some of you not like that, but some of you. But I learned over the years that criticism is not necessarily a bad thing. Even if the person has ill intent. If you're mature enough, you may learn from their ill intent. In other words, they may be criticizing you not to help you, but to try to point out a flaw. Well, if you're smart, when someone criticizes you as a leader, the first thing you do is you listen and you search your heart. And then you ask, very honest with yourself, is there any semblance of truth in what that person is saying? Now, usually, really, a criticism is simply another person's view of your decision or of your methodology. I'm going to say it again. Usually a criticism is simply another person's view of your decision or your methodology. So, it's not necessarily a bad thing. So you stop and you ask yourself, is there any merit to what this person is saying? Could I in fact have done this better? Could I in fact have used a better method? Could I have gone about this a little differently? And if after you ask yourself, you come to the conclusion that, you know what? I could have done this a little better. You don't condemn yourself. You file it away for the next time. And the next time, you're wiser. Now, that's when you benefit. But if you just get all upset and angry and adversarial, oh, they criticize me, you're not going to help yourself. Because listen, here's the thing. If their criticism was legitimate meaning they really pointed out something that you could have done better, or they really indicated a methodology that you could have used that would have given you better results, you have not gained or learned from the criticism. So guess what happened? You will repeat the same thing over and over and not get better. So when you use criticism correctly, you become better. Whenever you meet somebody who you consider wise, remember this. That person, no doubt, has learned from their mistakes over the years. So they become wiser every time. It's just that now that you've met them, 20 years later, they've got 20 years of learning and gaining. So they're much wiser. None of us are born with all the wisdom we need. We have to gain it. And sometimes gaining some of that wisdom is from criticism. So even if the person is not saying it to help you, you may still gain from it. So after you've examined it, if you're satisfied there's no merit to it, this person is just being malicious, they're just being mean, there's no merit to it, then you dismiss it. But the first response should not be to defend yourself. If that's your first response to criticism, you will never learn from it. You'll never benefit from it. So can you handle criticism? Can you profit from it? Next question. Can you turn disappointment into creative new opportunity? That's what a leader does. That's what a real leader does. A real leader turns disappointment into creative new opportunity. A real leader never just throws up his or her hand and says, oh, it can't be done, it can't be done, I don't see it. No. Okay, you know what? It didn't work that way. Let's sit down and think this through again. Let's go back to the drawing board. Let's go at it one more time. Let's see if we can make this thing work. Let's see how to make this thing work. You know, all of the great inventors failed many times before they succeeded. I often think of the Wright brothers. How many times did they try to build an airplane that would stay in the air? They went at it, bang, never went up. Went at it, bang, never went up. Went at it, bang, never went up. Went at it, maybe went up half an inch, bang, back on the ground. But then they never stopped. They kept going back to the drawing board, eh? Let's sit down, let's look at this thing again. There's got to be a way to do this. And that's what leaders do. They turn disappointment into creative new opportunity. Next question. Do you readily gain the cooperation of others and win their respect and confidence? If you're going to lead people, you must be able to do that. You must be able to do that. How is that done? It's done, one, by your reputation. Secondly, it's done by your approach. Let me give you an example. Let's say there's somebody that you want to become a part of your area in the church, your area of oversight, whatever that area may be, okay? There's a couple of ways for you to approach them, eh? Now, you can approach them this way. Listen, I want you to join my team. That's one approach. It may work for some people, but for some people that won't excite them. Okay? Well, let's take another approach. Listen, what's your name? So-and-so. Oh, okay. Look, I think you've been coming here for quite a while, haven't you? Yes. Are you involved in any area? No. What are your gifts? What do you enjoy doing? And they tell you. Now, you may have done a little homework before, you see? But now you're just confirming the homework that you did before on them. Okay, so they say, yes, I'd like to do so and so and so. Oh, man, listen, guess what? I have the responsibility here of overseeing such and such an area. I believe your gifts would be a blessing to the community, the kingdom community. And I would love for you to serve your gift with my team. Now, that's a whole different approach, isn't it? Now, which approach you think will get that person involved? Huh? The second one. Why? Why you say the second one? Tell me. Talk back to me. Pleasant. Huh? Appreciative, right? And polite, yes, okay. Anything else? You got to know the person, yes. Yes. And what getting to know the person does? Confidence, they open up to you, yeah, but there's something else I want to hear. Aha! You've given them a sense of importance. And every human being on the planet, I don't care who they are, wants to feel important. I don't care who they are. They want to feel important. So the second approach it's almost as if you can't refuse the offer. You can't refuse the offer. Well, I've already told you, I believe your gift can bless the kingdom community. So right away, I'm not even wondering if you have confidence in your own gift. I'm telling you, I have confidence in it. What a powerful statement. It's almost like an offer you can't refuse. You don't turn that kind of offer down. Very few people will. So do you readily gain the cooperation of others and win their respect and confidence? So now that person all of a sudden says, man, yes, I'll be happy to work on the team, so on and so on. They're excited now. Can you exert discipline without making a power play? Very important question as leaders. Many leaders fail right here. Can you exert discipline without making a power play? True leadership is an internal quality of the Spirit and needs no show of external force. Now let me explain that statement. If I am responsible and I oversee an area of ministry, and you are a part of the team, and there is something that you did that requires some kind of discipline. Now, here's the thing. You already know I'm responsible for the department. I don't need to come to you and announce, listen, you know I'm in charge. Well, now, the minute I say that, you're on the defensive. Am I right? Yes. Because that becomes a threatening thing to you. Because right away you start to feel, oh man, he's going to put the hammer on me. Oh, I'm finished, I'm done. I got to defend myself. So I know I'm in charge. I don't have to come and announce that to you. No. My approach should be, let's talk. We need to talk about a couple of things. There's some concerns and we need to talk. Now, saying we need to talk, I did not say I'm going to discipline you. I said we need to talk. Why would I say we need to talk? Because I need to make sure that you, even though I may have to discipline you, that may be the end of the story at the end of the day. What I really want, I'm not trying to kick you off the team, so to speak. What I'm trying to do is help you to become better and help you to deal with whatever it is that requires the discipline. Discipline should always have at the root of it the desire to restore. Okay? God never disciplines us to get rid of us. He disciplines us to restore us. So I should be saying, well, we've got to talk. There's a few things I'd like to talk to you about. There's some concerns I have. Now, after we talk, and I share the concerns with you, and I share why they are concerns. See, sometimes people do things and they don't understand the effect of what they've done or the seriousness of what they've done. If I sit and I share with you what you did and how it has affected everybody and why it is wrong and why as a result we're going to have you sit for a while or whatever it is, you have a better appreciation for, number one, what you did, why it was wrong, why the discipline. You know, it's similar to what we need to do with our children. Many of us grew up not understanding how to really discipline our children. We just whack them. Whack! No. Because that's what our parents did to us. Okay? But at the root of the discipline should always be what? Restoration. You want the child to understand that that behavior is destructive. Okay? That behavior is not going to help you in life. So you've got to sit and you've got to talk. Then you give the discipline. It doesn't take away the discipline, but it gives meaning to the discipline. So it's the same process then if you had to sit down, if you had to discipline someone in your ministry area. Now, they may still not like the discipline, but they will respect you for the process, for having used the right process. And remember now, the whole idea of the whole process is that you want to restore them. So if they really understand and really change and really repent and say, you know, I'm really sorry about what I did. I really didn't understand it had that kind of effect. And, you know, if I've got to sit out, I'm prepared to do that. Guess what? That person could become one of your best workers. Because they can come back after that period of discipline and become one of your best workers. But you see, it all depends on how you handle it as a leader. And that's a part of leadership. That's why leadership is a skill and an art. You may be born with certain skills, but you still got to develop them. There's a science to it. How to do things. Are you a peacemaker? Next question. A leader must be able to reconcile opponents and make peace where arguments have created hostility. Now, if there's anything that will test your leadership, it's this whole thing. You've got a department, and you've got people in the department who have disagreed over something and who have come to the place even where they're not speaking to each other over this, whatever it is. Now, this will test your leadership skills. Do you have the skill to listen to both sides and to analyze what really happened, where the breakdown really occurred? It's going to test your leadership skills. Do you have that ability to be the peacemaker, to be able to sit and analyze what really went wrong, and then you sit the two of them together and say, listen, I've listened to both of you. I see the problem. I see the problem. Not you're the problem. That's where you make a mistake. Many times people make that mistake. They call people the problem. People have a problem maybe, but they're not the problem. The problem is probably their understanding or their lack thereof. Their lack of understanding of what to say and what not to say. What to do and what not to do. They're not the problem. They may have a problem, but they're not the problem. But if you say to the person, you're the problem. Oh, you've got a bigger problem on your hands. You're going to really have a problem now. Because you've made it personal. You've told that person, you are the problem. No, you have a problem there. You didn't understand him. See, that's a different approach. You have a problem because you didn't understand. You have a problem because of the way you did or said what you did or said. That's a different approach. See? And this is what tests your skills as a leader. And as long as you are dealing with people, your leadership skills will be tested in all these areas. If you are in charge of a department in the church and you've got 5, 6 or more people who are working with you, I promise you, you will need what I'm telling you today. Somewhere along the way you'll need it. I can guarantee it. I can guarantee it. So, the question then is, are you a peacemaker? Do people trust you? Next question. With difficult and delicate situations. Next question. Can you induce people to do happily some legitimate thing that they would not normally wish to do? Once again, this is where the leadership skill comes in. Your ability to see a gift in someone and encourage them in such a way to do something that they may not have done without some encouragement. That's leadership. You identify ability in people and you help them bring that out by encouraging them to do something or try something they would not have done on their own. But because of your approach, but because of the confidence that you give them, that you believe they can do it, you believe they have the ability, they're able to do it. A leader must be able to do that. Can you accept opposition to your viewpoint or decision without taking offense? Everybody look straight ahead. Don't look at your neighbor. Can you accept opposition to your viewpoint or decision without taking offense? Leaders always face opposition. That's a part of it. That's a part of it. And it simply means, it can mean one of two things. One, either the person don't understand your viewpoint, or the person, for whatever reason, is stuck in an old way of doing something and they don't want to change. So now you've got to help them see the value of what you're proposing. But all of it has to do with your leadership ability. And an opposition to your viewpoint doesn't mean they oppose you. Notice what the question is. Your what? Your viewpoint. Not you, your viewpoint. Most of the time, when people take offense, they have taken the opposition personally. So someone says, you're putting forward an idea. Someone in your groups, in the team says, well, I don't like that idea. I don't think that's a good idea. You take it personally. They didn't say something's wrong with you. They simply said they didn't think the idea was a good one. Relax. Don't take it personally. So maybe they don't understand fully why you're proposing it. Now, you will never be able to help them if you take it personally. Because you're going to go in the wrong direction now. You're going to go in the wrong direction. Your question should be, tell me what about it is not, you don't think is a good idea. Tell me. Very calm. Very calm. So they have an opportunity now for you to understand their point of view. Where they are coming from. Why they are coming from that viewpoint. You have opportunity now to understand that. See? But if you take it personal, you'll never understand why they saw it that way. And you have opportunity to do two things. One, you may learn from their point of view, and then you have opportunity to help them understand your point of view. But if you ever take it personal, it's over. No, that's the way it is, and that's that. Don't. Oh, Jesus. Mistake, mistake, mistake. Big mistake. That's the way it is, and I said it, and I'm in charge. Oh, Lord. It's over, it's over, it's over. It's over. Some of you know people like that. Look straight, don't look left nor right. Look straight at me. All right, next question. Can you make and keep friends? Your circle of loyal friends is an index of your leadership potential. And I don't mean a lot of friends neither. You really only have a few friends. You have a lot of acquaintances, but you really only have a few friends. Okay? Next question. Do you depend on the praise of others to keep you going? Can you hold steady in the face of disapproval and even temporary loss of confidence? Very important question. We all appreciate praise, eh? Sure. It's a human need. But don't depend on that to be the fuel that keeps you going as a leader. That should not be what keeps you going. What keeps you going should be the understanding, the assurance that you're doing what God called you to do. That's what keeps you going. You appreciate the praise. You thank them for their appreciation. Nothing's wrong with that. Nothing's wrong with being appreciated. But some people, if they don't have praise, they give up. They throw up their hands because they always got to hear someone say, you did a great job. You did a great job. What happens if someone doesn't say so? Are you going to stop? You know, there's some people who work in the church. The minute the pastor stops telling them every Sunday they did a good job, they don't show up. I know some, you know some. And he ain't say nothing to me today. The pastor don't appreciate me. But he was telling you all the other times you did a good job. What do you mean now all of a sudden he don't appreciate you? That's not leadership behavior. All right, next question. Are you at ease in the presence of strangers? Do you get nervous in the presence of your superior? Now, what is this talking about? It has to do with the fact that leaders need to be comfortable with who they are and their importance. No one is more important than you. They may have a different position than you, but that doesn't make them more important than you. They may have more money than you. That still doesn't make them more important than you. Because all of us are made of equal importance in the sight of God. So, now this doesn't say that you don't respect people in their position. Of course. You always respect people in their position. But don't become so awed that you get nervous. Oh, this is so. You're all nervous. Relax. You're a leader too. Relax. Next question. Are the people who report to you generally at ease? The leader should be sympathetic and friendly. In other words, the people that work with you in your department should not be frightened of you. They should be respectful of you, but not frightened to approach you. Next question. Are you interested in people? All types, all races, no prejudice. Most of us would have to answer, we're working on it. That's the most honest answer I think any of us can give. Because all of us still have some little prejudices somewhere. It may not be color, it may not be color. It may be something else. We all have our little things we're working on. Okay? So tell your neighbor, I'm working on it. But the point is, you must, if you're a leader, you must be interested in people. You have to be. Because you've got to work with people. You've got to work with people. And you've got to love people. You've got to love people. All right? I tell all the time when I'm sharing this kind of thing, I tell people all the time, I remember when I did not love people. You can't tell it now, but I could tell you I remember that time. But the Lord worked on me in such a way and changed my heart that I love people now. I love people. But there was a time when I didn't. I didn't hate people, I just didn't love them. But if you're going to really be a leader and you're going to really do what God's called you to do, God has to help you and give you a love for people and make you genuinely interested in people. Genuinely, not putting on a show. Because I found out that people are smarter than you think. They know when you're faking it. And you're just going through the motions. And you really don't like them, but you're putting on a nice little show. People can figure that out. They're usually smart enough. Okay? All right, next question. Are you tactful? Can you anticipate how your words will affect a person? That's one of the best definitions right there you'll ever get of what it is to have tact. Anticipate how your words will affect people before you say them. And if you can do that, you will develop tact. The ability to say something and have it have the desired effect. Even if it's something that may not be pleasant. You will learn how to say it and have the desired effect. Because you will determine before you say it, not after. After it's too late. You've got to determine before you say it how it will affect someone. So let's see if we can come up with an example. Okay? All right. Let's say that a member on your team, let's say it's a lady, and she's wearing a dress that she's outgrown. How are you going to communicate that to her? If you borrow my words, you must send me some royalties. So now, how do you do that with tact? Do you go up to her and say, listen, you're too big for this dress. If you do, you're in trouble. She'll hate you for life. Huh? Yeah, but you're coming to church now. You can wear it at home and let him like it, not to church. All right? So you have to find a way of saying to her, you know, you're in the midst of the community of the saints. And I know your desire is not to distract. What a different message, eh? You're saying the same thing, eh? But you're using tact. And I think this could distract. And I know that's not your intention. Now, here's the thing. She already know it was too tight. You're not giving her any news flash. She know that. But she will appreciate you using tact. And you won't lose her. But if you don't use tact, you will lose her off your team. Remember, you're always in the business of restoring. You're not trying to lose people. You're trying to help people. You're trying to help people. So you have to use some tact. Now, you have to develop that. It's very easy sometimes to say the first thing that comes to your mouth. And you let it fly out. And you're in trouble. As a leader, and the higher up you go, the more tact you must learn to use. As a leader, you must develop tact. You must develop it. All right. Is your will strong and steady? Leaders cannot vacillate or cannot drift with the wind. Okay? Next question. Can you forgive or do you nurse resentments and harbor ill feelings towards those who've injured you? Listen, as a leader, you must have this quality. You must be able to forgive quickly and easily. You cannot take things personally. Not as a leader. You must be able to forgive. You can't walk around 30 years with something that someone did you 30 years ago or said to you. I'm not letting this go. I'm holding on to this till I die. Some people say that stuff, you know. Next question. Are you reasonably optimistic? Pessimism and leadership do not mix. You have to be optimistic. Nobody wants to be around someone who's pessimistic. And there are some humans in the world that are just pessimistic. No matter what it is, they're going to find a negative thing to say. They're thirsty. You give them half a glass of water. They're going to say, but it's half empty. Yeah, but it's half full. Hello. But there are just people like that in the world. They'll find something negative to say. The sun is out. It's too hot. Yes, but it could have been in and be very cold. There's some folks, they will always find something negative in anything you do. They're not leadership material, if that's the case, because nobody wants to be around a negative person. Do you feel a master passion, such as that of Paul, who said, "This one thing I do"? Such a singleness of motive will focus your energies and powers on the desired objective. Leaders need a strong focus. Do you welcome responsibility? You know, real leaders don't run from responsibility, you know. They run to it. Why? Because they're going to get better. They're going to get better. All right. R.E. Thompson had a 5-point test for leadership. It says, do other people's failures annoy or challenge you? First test. Do other people's failures annoy or challenge you? As a leader, it should challenge you to find a way to help them to become better. Okay? It should challenge you. Next, do you use people or cultivate them? Very important one, eh? Nobody likes to feel used. And even though they may not know it at the time, people will reflect and say, wait, you know what? What he did, he used me. And that's not a good feeling. Leaders don't use people, not true leaders. Do you direct people or develop people? If you're responsible for a department, you can be saying to people, do this, but never developing them, helping them to learn how to do it better, training them. See? Not just directing them, developing them. What did Jesus say to his disciples? Follow me and I will make you to become more than you are. If you're a leader, you should always make those who are with you to become better. When they leave you, they should become better because they've been with you, or working with you. Do you criticize or encourage? Do you shun or seek out the person with a special need or problem? These are his 5 questions. All right. I want to end this session by just a couple notes on vision. Like I say, we're going to deal with visionary leadership tomorrow. I think in one of our sessions we'll go fully into it. But I want to just give you a couple of thoughts here on vision. Proverbs 29:19 says, where there's no vision, the people perish. Another translation says they throw off restraint. So vision has a way of bringing discipline, Has a way of bringing focus. Webster defines vision as a manifestation to the senses of something immaterial, unusual discernment or foresight, the act or power of seeing. Where do we get vision from? According to Blackaby, there are at least 7 sources. 1, because it's there to be achieved. 2, we duplicate success, past successes. 3, we do it for personal success or praise. It's called vanity. 4, there's a need there. So because of the need, we come up with a vision to meet that need. Okay? 5, it is a resource-driven vision. You've got the money, and so you say, you know what, I have all this money, I want to do thus and so. Okay? Resources, however, should follow vision, not lead it. I said resources should follow vision, not lead it. Not because you have the resources, you do something. You should have a vision to do it. Then you put the resources there. Then there's leader-generated vision. Okay, God has generated the vision, Ephesians 3:20. And 7, there's God's revelation. Vision is something people produce. Revelation is something people receive. Okay? Leaders, and lastly, leaders can produce a vision, but they cannot produce God's will. So it's God's will that should give you a vision. God says to you, okay, this is why you were created, this is your purpose, and now you get a vision to fulfill that purpose. So you're after God's will. Okay? All right. We're done with this session.